everyone, hope you're all well. Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be sharing my 2-year natural bodybuilding transformation. I've decided to share this really for two reasons really. One is because with everything that's going on, I thought it was time for me to share some motivational content to get you all motivated to start training from home if you're not already. And two, I think this kind of video would have helped me when I first started to have realistic expectations of how much muscle I might gain. I thought with good training and diet, I was going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger by the time I was like 20, 21, when I was in my teens. Obviously that's not the case. I'm now 32. I've learned a lot of life lessons, one of which is that probably can't gain muscle as fast as I thought I could, but with the right training, I've made some fantastic progress in only 2 years. So without further ado, this first image is taken in December 2017, just after I've recovered, shall we say, from epigastric hernia surgery. Okay, for complete transparency, as you can see, although I wouldn't say I'm jacked, I did have a little bit of muscle left from training before my surgery. I was completely inactive for approximately 10 to 12 weeks, I can't remember exactly. And at this point I couldn't even flex my abs because, I don't know if you can see in the pictures, but I'd had an incision right across my stomach just above my belly button, and had a 2x2 centimetre mesh put in to hold the hernia in, basically. So and that's the surgery that I'd had done, but I started training then. So this is my starting point. As you can see, I'd had a little bit, like I say, had a little bit of muscle before and had been training in the past and I've been active. So the first month to 2 months is going to be regaining what I lost. So let's move on to, so this was December, bear in mind, December 2017. And the next set of photos we're going to have a look at are in February 2018. Let's go. So as you can see, it looks like pretty decent progress actually in the first 2 months of training, but like we said, a lot of that's regaining what I've lost from being inactive and my resting muscle tone going back. So one of the main things you can see in these photos is that the leg size is still there. It was there in the first pictures, but there's a bit more tone. I've got the tone back in my abs, and where I've started being active again, I went back to work and got back to training. I've lost a little bit of body fat, so you can see a bit more of that resting tone, and I've definitely built back a little bit of muscle as well. So this was probably the phase of training where I was getting used to training again. I can even remember now is that I felt really weak. I've got a video somewhere on my old Instagram where I was doing rotator cuff rotations with 1 kilo dumbbells and looking really depressed when I went back because I felt like if I put too much pressure on, I was going to damage my my surgical repair of my hernia. So there was a little bit of touch and go training, but it got better and better. So by this point in February, I was starting to get a little bit more confident and I'd got a bit more of that resting tone back. So that was February, but let's move on to the next set of pictures. So it's probably in February that I decided that I was going to go to body power. The first time I'd actually heard of it, and it was about this point as well, it was about the first time I'd heard of men's physique, which might sound ridiculous because I followed bodybuilding when I was younger. And I competed in junior bodybuilding when I was 18, but I fell out of the game like in my 20s. I didn't really watch it, I didn't really follow it, I didn't do that kind of training really properly. And I had no idea, believe it or not, that men's physique existed, and I'd never heard of body power. So I can't even remember where I learned those things, but I learned that they existed, and I decided it was time to get involved. I turned 30 in February as well, so I was like, oh, I'm 30 now, I'm gonna have to like get the body of my dreams by the time I'm 31 and all this. So there's loads of reasons. So I'd started training really hard, like even harder than before, on the lead up to body power, which is in May, and I'd come up with this physique, as you can see on the screen now. By the time May hit, I've been dieting down because I wanted to look leaner, I wanted to walk around body power all confident with my physique. So that's the body I brought, and I was pleased with it. I met some really cool people. I actually remember being lucky because there was no queue. I'd got there on the VIP pass and it was early, and I got to go and talk to Ryan Terry about competing and about how I was thinking about maybe doing a men's physique show in the year, and he was like, go for it, like, and he gave me some cool tips as well. So he was a cool guy. And I actually met someone else called Chris Elkins, You can find him on Instagram. I've been following him. He was a natural bodybuilder in the States, who had been quite motivating for me. I've been following him at that time, so that was really cool. I also met like Rob Lipsett, I met Simeon Panda, I met loads of cool people, but by the end of Body Power, I'd really decided that I wanted to compete. So even though I'd been training super hard for Body Power, I was like, I'm gonna take it up a notch. So I started really dialing in on my diet, which was like the first time I'd ever done that in my life. Was like really tracking everything I ate, making sure I'd like got exactly the amount of calories, exactly the macros. I was having like little rice cakes with like a little bit of pate on if I needed a bit of carbs and a bit of fats at the end of the day. So I was nailing my macros every day. I didn't have a coach. I thought I'd just do the best that I could. I always kind of done that. And I went to the show in June looking like this. So that was awesome. So I'd got my first show underway. Didn't place, but I was bothered because I wanted to do well, but I also kind of knew it was my first rodeo in men's physique. I had some size to gain, really, as you can see. Like, I had quite good condition, but the size wasn't there. So I thought it's like back to the drawing board. And I thought, right, so from that moment, you'll see like a slideshow of pictures behind, but I just bulked. 11 months straight, bulk. Not getting bigger, eating more, bulk. I did so, and for 11 months straight, I was eating between 4,000 and 4,500 calories every day. And it was like, at the beginning, it was clean, like I was doing it clean. It was loads of food, but by the end, it was like a proper dirty bulk, and I was just eating everything. And I remember looking in the mirror. I remember seeing this picture on the screen now. I took it in the mirror at a family home, and I remember looking at it and thinking, oh my God, I look dreadful. And at that point I was like, no, this has gone too far. My face was all bloated out, my stomach was coming out, and I'd just been kidding myself. I could see my top 2 abs the whole way through, and I was still pretty lean, but it dawned on me that I really wasn't. So that was in May. So the peak of my bulk came in May 2019. So like I say, 11 months straight. And then I was like, I must diet now. Oh my God, I need to diet. So, and I wanted to compete again. So I put in the diary a competition in September, which was another PCA show, the London show this year. So I didn't do the muscle talk that I'd done the year before. I did the London. So I dieted for 23 weeks straight, and by the end of it I had to strip off over 30 pounds of fat because I'd just eaten myself to oblivion. So I learned a lesson, and if you've watched this far, it's a lesson that you can learn, is that there's no point dirty bulking and just hammering loads and loads of calories. You might getting a bit soft is okay, because you should be in a bit of a surplus of calories, a little bit soft, but 30 pounds of additional weight is just pointless, because you just have to diet, and it's not fun. But I say it wasn't fun. I still just put the pedal to the metal, as so they say. And by the end of it, I looked like this at the show. So, and I gained clean. So the lean weight that I gained between the first competition and the second was 12 pounds of lean muscle, and that about sums up pretty much the average amount of weight you can gain as a natural athlete in that time. So hopefully that'll give you an idea, but you can see there's a pretty considerable difference between show 1 and show 2. And if you really want to look at the difference over the 2-year period, so from December 2017 here to, where was it? September 2019 here, you can see there's a pretty immense difference between those two pictures. So it shows, and I will admit, I didn't really miss a training session. I even joined a gym while I was on holiday for 3 weeks. So it was like a whatever it takes attitude, and you have to work hard, but you can do this kind of thing with your physique. And as you've seen throughout this video, my physique changed a lot. It went up, it went down, it went up, and it went down. So if you had a particular goal, let's say you're grossly overweight, for example, you want to lose loads of weight, if you fixate on that goal and you just keep going for it, you can make a mad change to your body completely naturally. So I hope that motivates you. You've seen the start to finish transformation, and this photo that's been behind me the whole time on the screen let's bring it up a little bit more clearly for you, was the final picture in November 2019. So that is how far I took my body between December 2017 and November 2019. I hope it's motivated you to know that you can achieve some awesome things naturally. And if you've got any questions for me, drop them in the comments. If you're new, please subscribe, because I'm going to be trying to bring some exciting content over the next few months, and I'll see you soon. Cheers guys, bye bye.